Welcome to PKRTV, the show which brings you action from the tables of PKR.com. Ask any player what they dream of and they'll all tell you the same thing, a PKR Masters title. April's final table is one of the most dramatic ever, with February's champions so cold as ace on course for an historic second title. With 25 grand to the winner and 10 players remaining, this is the business end of tournament poker. Joining me to find out which player brings home the bacon is Team PKR Pro Scott Shelley.
Well, what an occasion this is. We'll go through some of the runners and riders shortly, but one man who springs off the page is so cold as ace. Winner of this event for 28 grand 2 months ago. He's back.
Run good much?
Back at the... Oh, why does everyone think this? God, poker, you know, if you run bad, people think you play bad. And if you run good, people think you're lucky. It's such a sick game. It's not fair. It's not fair at all. That's just because everyone is... It's hard to be actually pleased for anyone else, isn't it? As a poker player, it's very difficult.
I'm very pleased for people.
Really?
Okay, I ain't going to lie.
You'd hope it was you.
No, I'm not going to lie. There's always a little bit of like, oh, I wish it was me. But I'm always pleased to see nice people doing well.
Yeah, well, there we go. Tug Wilson, the Brit first hand of this final table, doubles up. Still a short stack, but you got to stay in this. I tell you what, another man who leaps off the page is Tip Top, legendary cash game player. Has some fans, has some detractors. I know one or two top cash game players who think that he's the mark, but you know, you can't have this kind of longevity and make that much money and be a fool. And so hopefully we'll see some of that tonight. That he's a class player, and of course we've got the Squeeze, old veteran of the community that he is.
Possibly one of the best usernames ever, I think.
Oh, really?
I really like it.
Okay, all right.
It's like...
The Squeeze.
I bet you couldn't get it if you went onto a lot of poker sites to try and get it.
All right, now let me give you a little bit of background on this guy. J.D. Rockefeller, a somewhat outspoken...
Rings a bell.
Well, it shouldn't do. I don't think that you've come across him before, but... He spent most of this final table kind of, I would say, talking smack at his opponents. Wow. And, of course, this is the Masters. It's a prestigious moment, and everyone's on the rail cheering for their man or woman. I bet. And this guy was just slating everyone.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Well, he's found the bad news. He is the bane of this final table, by the way. He's extraordinarily active. He is the chip leader, and for good reason. And I think we're going to... You just keep your eye on him. He plays fast and loose, and he's a tough competitor. And actually, if you look at his records, this is only his 6th tournament on PKR. He plays the higher stakes elsewhere. He claims that he's won the warm-up and this and that and the big tournaments elsewhere. He was most vocal when it came to his previous record. So, you know, I think you have to back that up, don't you? If you're going around saying, I won this, I won that, and he was offering people heads up for any amount of money.
Where was pain?
I know, indeed. Well, actually, your mate Fleischer comes on.
I think
he comes onto the forum. I actually posted a thread about this.
I think I read that. Yeah. And Fleischer was like, I'm happy to play.
Fleischer pops on and says, yes, please. So that's the background.
Yes, Tom.
Indeed. So let's just watch and critique or admire, depending. He makes the call.
Here comes the flop. And
opponent very short stacked. He had 350k.
And here's the river.
Yeah, it was like 4 bigs, wasn't it? 5 bigs.
Indeed.
Give him a spin.
Yeah, he gives him a spin. At what point do you stop giving people a spin, or do you judge each moment on its merits?
I mean, yeah, he's playing what? He was playing like 50 bigs.
360 he was on, basically.
Yeah.
So Yeah, 40-ish, isn't it?
Between 40 and 50 bigs. The guy's got, what, 3, 4 bigs? Yeah, I'm calling any two there. If I'm in the big blind, 100%.
Gotcha. Well, we have not mentioned so far that it's 25 grand and $63 for the winner. 15K for second, 9K, 7K, 5K. Wow. There's a ton of money up top, but sadly, 10th will only get $1,300, which is plenty of money to some, but bear in mind, $270 to enter this. And you've been playing for the best part of 9 hours. The squeeze, a veteran of our tournaments too. He does have a healthy list, not least a 7.5 Grand Sunday Classic victory from 2008. All of his big victories from 08 and 09. Can he come back with a bang? Tug Wilson, the shorty, not looking to get some action.
He's got some.
Picked up a caller, perhaps a little loose, but I guess you've got to remember it's still only a few, it's what, less than 10 bigs?
Yeah.
And, well, Tug Wilson hasn't shied away. First hand gets it in with 7-8, manages to outdraw his opponent, gets it in there with Queen High. It doesn't come good, and it looks like it's going to come to the end of his Masters run. Tip-top right at the bottom. Shame, really. I'd like to see what this guy's capable of.
Yeah, he's quite handcuffed here with 9 bigs.
Yeah.
So all he can do really is shove.
Yeah, well, no surprise that Tip-top has won a couple of high rollers. And he won a high roller main event in 2011 for 5K, so he only plays the big ones. No mucking around from Oxvaldo.
Tug should have got it in there for 1 big.
What did he have?
Queen Jack.
Okay.
He had 11K.
Right. I mean, the ante's going to be chewing away at him.
I mean,
next hand.
I like it even more just because you've got a player shoving in front of you, so it's likely you're going to be heads up and playing for like a quadruple up heads up. I mean, it's worked out here that he would have actually been drawing semi-dead pre-flop.
Yeah.
Here comes the
PGK picks up jacks and looks to be the executioner.
Yeah. That folds now. Put him up on the ladder.
Indeed. That is...
How much did he make?
Well, he just made $301.
It was
Oi, oi.
Yeah, it's probably worth it.
Oxvaldo, 10th place, $1,300.
Okay, new hand.
9 left. And it's not going to get really tricky and exciting until, what, 4, 5, maybe even 6 left? People can start to really...
You'd imagine the stack should allow them to play a bit more rather than just getting the shoves in.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends how quickly we get to 4 or 5-handed, though.
Yep. And, well, we will hopefully be seeing you at this final table at some point soon, right?
It could be a possibility.
Yeah, well, you always looked at this and said, I'm going to win the Masters. And PKR Jake and I are now... Oh, we are calling you out. I don't know, how many times is it going to take before you reach the final table, I wonder?
Have the turn.
6.
Check.
I'm going to set the line at 6.
6 before you reach the final table.
Within 6.
Can I have even money on that?
There you go.
Come on. And whilst you mull that over, and before it's not exactly a snap call, but you can
I'll give you even money on 9.
Even money on 9. 7 and we've got a deal. Whilst you can think about that, whilst we lament the departure of Tug Wilson in 9th, he gave it everything he got, but once he lost that Queen 7 hand, he was down to but 1 big blind. 9th place, 1,600. Not bad, a Masters final table. Something most people want. And here he goes. J.D. Rockefeller. The mouth opens. Picks it up, and there we go, 600K.
Looks a bit like Phil Ivey.
Well, he thinks he plays quite a lot like Phil Ivey as well. But that is a huge chip lead. I'm looking at his previous results. Obviously, he hardly plays on PKR. I've got a feeling, actually, that this is his first cash on PKR. Yes, it is. Quite a moment. Massive chip lead in the Masters. How is he going to throw it away, one wonders? Tip-top. Early-ish position. Is this his moment?
Yeah, I'd like a shove here. You want to do it before the blinds get through you with 6 bigs and he's got a suited king?
Yeah.
Not the full table to get through. I mean, the majority of the table to get through, but I think he's not going to find a better spot.
Well, it looks good so far, but he's run into the big chip leader who's got an ace. Does the chip leader know anything about tip top?
Yeah, this is a call pretty much from anyone shoving. Doesn't really matter who is shoving.
Okay.
With that stack and the 6 big blind shove, ace 8's huge.
9 or a queen.
Nah, not to be.
And that is one dangerous player out of this final table. Tip top in 8th place for 2,100. 7 remain. 3K the smallest they'll pick up. 25K the biggest. And don't forget, folks, So Cold as Ace won this 2 months ago when he outlasted 448 others.
I'm all in.
Only a couple of people have ever won the Masters twice. He could join that select group. Short stack Noxico hasn't done much. The Swiss is 146th final table. Gets it in for 10 bigs with the 7s.
Fold.
Oh, he's run into it here.
I call. Fold.
Yeah, we haven't seen much of Judicatorial. Crikey. Jude, we'll call him. But he picks up a premium hand. Kasaka, another we've not seen much of. Dwelling on the king high for no apparent reason.
Fold. There you go.
Well, the Swiss is going to see the bad news and he's going to need some help. There's a little.
Here's the 10 card. And here's the river.
No, that's it for Noxico, who has still awaiting his first major win on PKR. And it will have to wait. He picks up 3K. And now we're 6-handed, and you might well see one or two of these guys start to get busy.
Yeah, I was about to say we should expect to see JD open up. I mean, there's no one that's ridiculously short. There's a couple of them are hovering around 10 bigs, like the squeeze.
Tricky spot here, the squeeze. He's got 150. It's the perfect shoving stack, you'd think.
I prefer a fold there, I think.
Right, okay.
I mean, I think JD's opening hands a lot that are going to be calling about a 10 big blind shove.
Gotcha.
I'd rather be the one just open shipping from late rather than reshipping in the spot where you might get called. And ace-4 is not really a hand you want to get all in pre with.
Yeah, you're getting tantalizingly close to the big money here, and each decision, you must take some time over these.
I mean, they've moved in with the ace-4 and they're going to be in bad shape just because Squeezes past 2 of their outs. Well, not their outs, but...
Yeah, you'd expect Rockefeller to make the call, and
here comes the flop.
here he goes. Dodge a queen or a jack, and it's a double up for the shorty.
Let's see the river.
And he does. Kasaka gets it through, or holds at least. Rockefeller still up there, but not quite the huge lead he once had. And we haven't seen anything from So Cold as Ace, but I am reliably informed that he knows what he's doing, and we shall see something shortly. What is that flag? PJK. In fact, we've got somewhat of an assortment here. You're not going to get it. It's I would say Bulgarian too. Oh,
I'm quite good with flags,
all right,
actually.
Okay, all right. Well, what's Kasaka then?
Okay, that's me.
Croatia.
Yes, you are correct. That is 100%. You're not ready for the eggheads yet, but...
I tell you what, flags is... there's very few flags I wouldn't know, I reckon.
Wow, there's a flag prop bet to be had there somewhere.
I reckon that's something that I'd be good at.
Here's the flop.
Well, it's not the hugest pot in the world, and the squeeze is at risk. He's got a flush draw.
Here comes the river.
Well, he misses, and the rail cries as one as their favourite leaves. And, well, that's the Squeeze's best performance in the Masters. It's a fine one, but really he never picked up any hands. 6th place for 4K. That is actually his, 5th? It's still only his 5th best result on PKR, but in the last 2 years, it's by far and away his best. Hopefully he'll put that to good use and be back in the winner's circle soon.
I hate that flat call.
Fold.
Yeah, I thought you might.
Let's see the
He's
flop.
really relying on hitting something here or doing something crazy. And there is the crazy.
Here's the 10.
Yeah, he's just...
5 ball for the
Here
chop.
comes the river.
Well, I guess he
But
had
like,
decided he was going to do that, but there's no need, is there? Is that?
And there's just, you've got no equity there. It's
Right.
like, he's got the king of diamonds for the backdoor nut draw, but it's just like,
Yeah.
that's the only thing he's got going for him on that flop.
Well, he did pick up $5,000 for 5th place, and we are 4 away, but perhaps an unnecessary manoeuvre there.
yeah,
But
I think so.
I prefer someone to pull the trigger than to shy away from the battle. So fair enough.
I prefer a good medium.
Okay, well, that's his best result anyway, old Kosaka. That leaves us 3-way, and this is where the money is won.
I'm interested to see how this hand plays out.
Rockefeller, the aggressor. 27K.
Here's the 10.
2 overs and a gut shot for so cold as ace. He's picked up 3 more outs. 10 would also do. Nothing at all for the king 5.
I bet.
And he fires a second barrel. This pot's starting to get big, and so cold as ace flats. Wow. Another barrel should do it. JD Rockefeller, he's got the tick mark.
Oh, that's sick.
Wow. He pulls the trigger. And nothing you can do. So cold as ace.
I don't know. Like,
What's he been doing?
although this looks good,
You think it's suicidal
I just
a lot of the time. He gets called. You get called on the flop, you get called on the turn, and you can pull the trigger on the end. He's got to have a fantastic read on his opponent.
this is like the only hand, or like 5-7 got there. Maybe he's getting 5-3 off it. Well, 5-3 can't call,
right.
surely.
Although 5-3 might be more likely to raise at some point than to call all the way down, like he's done. I think both of them have played it kind of odd. Definitely not non-standard line.
I don't know, because I think cold as ace would be pulling the trigger if he got checked 2 on a river there.
Right.
I don't think he was just playing it to hit his cards. I think he was playing it to also the floating position and maybe take it off him.
Right. I believe that also from
I think he played it better than the king 5 personally.
Okay. Well, here we
If
go.
the king 5 had check called the river, then I would have got up and bowed to him.
Well, Rockefeller's got best part of 1 million chips, and this tournament should be over by now.
Yeah.
It should be over. So cold as ace, his second title is slipping away, and he's called out of position again.
Yeah, I don't like this call. I'm not a fan of that call.
Well, how's he going to win this hand? Well, he bets 43K. There's just 1 over and not enough to scare off someone with pocket jacks.
Yeah, I mean,
Turn card.
Pocket jacks, flat calls.
I like the flat call because for Rockefeller here, he's thinking, well, why is the guy leading out with a king?
Indeed, and he fires another 48K.
I'm probably just check calling the whole way here.
I'm going to call.
Let's see the
Well, Rockefeller calls. He's in position, so he's called both barrels, and the board has not got any nastier on turn and river. So cold as ace, he bets 43 on the flop, 48 on the turn, and now 138 all in on the end. This should be the end of his tournament.
Yeah, I'm really not a fan of this line at all. For me, this is a call.
Wow. And
It doesn't make sense.
the overwhelming chip leader is getting a decent price to be right. He's got 841K. This is the Masters within his reach. If he can
Come on,
make
back
the
up
call.
all the talk and call, for God's sake.
But is he outthinking himself
Yeah,
here?
but I don't understand why he would lead King Deuce 8 from the small blind after flat and pre. With what sort of hand would he do that with? This beating jacks at
Wow, and the jacks passes. He passes a spot where he can go to 1.1, 1.2 million. He can
hate
knock
that
out
call.
a player. He can go heads up in the
I hate that
Masters.
fold, sorry.
Wow, yeah. Oh, I'm
Really
sorry,
hate-
my bad. Not heads up. He can go 3-handed with a 3-1 chip lead on anyone else. Wow, absolutely monstrous fold.
I don't understand why he would fold though.
Why would you fold? Yeah, bemused we are.
Raise.
Well, straight back into the action. Rockefeller opens 5 deuce off. Perhaps a little tilty here.
I don't mind opening it. It's just what he does now. You got to pass now, or you can't flat. Please don't flat. I'd prefer him to raise than flat.
Wow, and this is a min raise from So Cold as Ace, who got that move through. Whether it was wise or not, well, that's up to you lot to decide. But JD Rockefeller, can he compound that mistake
Raise.
with another? Wow. Well, it's better than calling.
I call.
But he's run into it now, and he must know he's run into a big hand.
I'm interested to know how deep So Cold as Ace is. After flat.
655K for JD Rockefeller. There's 300K in the middle, so Cold as Ace can't have even that much. He bets 122.
He's flattered.
He's flattered. He decides, well, he's got the winning hand.
They've put in 260. I want to see what's he got left. He's got 270 left.
Rockefeller checks. He gives up. So cold as ace, 270. He just decides he's not going to give a free card.
He's won the maximum here, but I'd prefer to see him get it in pre-flop with the ace-queen.
Right. It's too high a risk, this line.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, they're playing four-handed. Ace-queen's like the nuts.
Yeah.
Especially in a line like that where the guy's 4-bet after losing a big pot.
Well, JD Rockefeller, he could have been on 1.2 million with 3 left. Now, for the first time, he's no longer the chip leader in this tournament. 532k and a couple of questionable hands there. Queens, it's all happening fast. He min raises. It's these two
Free
again.
bet.
It's these two
he's
again,
found
he
a flat.
flats.
I fold.
One queen hits the muck.
Here's a flop.
Well, it's not the worst flop for queens. You'd still figure to be
Check.
comfortably ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the best flop. I'm not a big fan of it, but it's definitely not the worst flop.
Yep.
Far worse flops than that.
He checks it after opening.
I think he might be trying to maybe check raise all in. I wouldn't mind that line here.
Wow, these two have got a dynamic going on here. So cold as ace has got 1 million chips. What a rise from the ashes of 122k at one stage. Incredible, and he will not give up this chance for a second title.
I bet.
Well, it's an innocuous turn, and he makes it 55k. It's half pot. So cold as ace. He's got nothing but ace high.
Might peel one off here.
Yeah, could indeed. It certainly doesn't look like he wants to just pass and move on. What on earth are the other two thinking? Watching these two go at it, they're thinking maybe someone.
Yeah, maybe I can get heads up without doing anything.
Exactly. Incredible the action from these two. Wow, he's having a right old think.
I call.
He
These
flats.
are the river.
He flats, and JD Rockefeller, he's got what looks like the winning hand, certainly to us and surely to him too. He's got 366 there. He bets half his stack.
I wouldn't have minded a jam.
All in.
Oh, wow.
Wow, so cold as ace moves in.
Wow.
What a move. You might think it's a little wild, but how could you do that without a hand? If you're JD Rockefeller...
If this gets through, this is ridiculous.
This is another remarkable situation these two are providing
This is
us.
absolutely ridiculous.
Incredible poker. He's decided that there's weakness there somewhere, somehow. He's looked at JD
Wow,
Rock-
maybe... Do you think he puts him on a hand like ace-queen? He's like, well, if I call, he might have me out kicked.
Right.
I'm
So
trying to
he
get him off a
shoves.
better ace high. I don't,
Wow. Well, he's looking at his opponent. Wow.
Wow.
He passes queens. He passed jacks first to this opponent.
Because how can he ever have the best hand there?
Exactly. He's checked, but if you're so
That
cold
was
as
so
ace,
sick.
if you're so cold as ace,
Look at the stacks.
Oh my word, that is astonishing. And JD Rockefeller, he's got 11 big blinds. He was the chip leader, and it was over at one stage. Absolutely astonishing action. He's had 3 bites at this cherry to win this tournament. Absolutely
Wow.
incredible. And so cold as ace, it's unusual. You know, but you can't say it's terrible. Or I
don't know. I'm a bit confused.
But I do think there's so much that's player dependent here. We're just seeing a little slice of this history. Well, there we go. That's half the stack. That's a double up for Judah Carroll. And but I mean, if you're like us, folks out there, you're just kind of reeling from 3 huge hands in a row.
Crazy.
That was crazy. And that move on the end, how could you do that with air? That's the point, isn't it? Your opponent's putting half his stack on the river and you move in on him. I mean, your opponent has to read you for strength. But he's got a virtual monster there, queens.
There you go.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's
Unbelievable. He's aggressive, but he's made 2 massive laydowns, both incorrect.
so cold as ace is just absolutely steamrolling your head.
This is it. He waited until there were a few left, and he picked his man. I mean, that's the end for PGK. That's 4th place and 7K. A very nice result, really. But you can't blame anyone else at this final table for not really getting involved if they haven't got the hands, and this is going on around them. bananas action.
It's crazy. Oh, look at this. The open off the 7 big blind stack.
Hello, I have a hand, please. And he looks like he's picked up a caller.
Look at this. It's so sick.
Oh, no. Well, he's picked up a caller, and this could be the end if he gets unlucky. Snap. Oh, he's got a dodge loads.
That is the dirtiest card in the deck.
Oh, well, you can feel somewhat aggrieved on behalf of the Romanian. That is third place.
He was so pleased with himself when the guy shoved the flop.
Indeed,
He was like, I trapped him.
Well, he picked up a customer that he really didn't want to pick up in the end. There we go, and I'll tell you what, we are heads up in the April Masters, 401 runners, and we are left with just 2.
Oh,
and
this could be it.
This could be it.
Barring no spades, queens or tens.
Yeah, a queen or a 10 will keep him in, and that is it.
Little wheel there to end it.
Wow, and congratulations, a second Masters title for So Cold as Ace. Incredible stuff.
Wow, history has just been made. Another 2-time Masters champion, and within 3 months, no less. Incredible stuff. But I tell you what, really, another person should have won that Masters title, shouldn't they?
Yeah, I mean, JD had the chip lead for like the whole way through, and in a couple of spots he made some folds which I wasn't too keen on. I mean,
to put it nicely.
Yeah, I mean, the Jack's hand where the board ran out king high, and his opponent led into him twice, and he folded the river. I just don't think if you're going to call both streets like that, you should always be calling the river. I think the other hand was it with the queens.
The queens on the Jack high board.
See, when the river, when the guy shoves, you're never really good, but it's just the price he was getting was ridiculous. It was like, you should never really, even if you think you're behind now, I think you've got to call it off.
I mean, he claimed he was the best player at the table, but it didn't play out that way in the end. He was super aggressive, but he seemed to make these incredible hero folds. Is that perhaps outsmarting yourself and trying to play too great?
Yeah, he seemed to play like weak holdings quite fast and his big holdings quite slow. I think he needs to mix it up a bit more.
Well, we'd like to see more of him, but incredible display from a 2-time Masters champion, So Cold as Ace. Congratulations, and from me and Scott, we'll see you next time.